All right, we're live. Hello, 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 everyone. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone's doing amazing because I know I am. My name is Chad. I'm a motion designer and I'm learning to draw every day just to prove to people that it's not really that bad. Okay, today is, believe it or not, the last day. And here are. Alright, I haven't thought about this uh, before, so this is going to be like we're going to do like the takeaways. What did we take away from this challenge? First of all, let me take the gum out of my mouth because I can't speak with it on. Yes, takeaways. Well, this is more of a result, not just a takeaway, but the first thing I notice is that I've gotten better at drawing heads. I've gotten better with the structure. I think I have the ability now to mix in my head, the ability to think about the proportion and also think about the Loomis method and just like getting sort of like the features in the right place. So I think that's good. I think that's very good. I feel like I'm a bit more confident, even though the confidence comes and goes sometimes. I think I'm a bit more confident drawing, with my lines. And overall it was very interesting. And so I want to do takeaways because the results, they're gonna come to sooner or later. It's just that the takeaways that make the result come sooner. So I think I've gone on this whole drawing journey in a very messed up way. Like, it's not wrong, like no way of learning is actually wrong, but there are ways that get you faster to your results. And I wouldn't say I would, if I had to do it again, I would do it another optimized way, because there's always an optimized way, right? So what I needed back then is just to starting with hands, or starting with portraits, or starting with whatever. I just needed to start, which is always good, right? But I feel like starting with hands, starting with something that complicated, and then getting to actually sort of like kind of like be able to do it at least to a certain extent, and then going over to anatomy, and then going over to portraits. That is, that feels backward to me. That feels very backwards. However, that also sort of like makes me happy because I started with the hardest things, and the hardest things were, I persisted and I did them anyways. So the easy stuff is gonna be easy, right? So I think that's one of the takeaways. Another takeaway is the importance of me actually learning. I have a bit of an arrogant view, I think, when it comes to drawing, because back when I was a kid, I used to draw, and I used to draw really good. At least I was better than everybody in, like, my class or my age. People, the kids my age that I knew that they sucked at drawing, I was kind of like passionate with drawing and everything, and so I feel like that stayed with me. And it stayed with me to the extent that now I feel like, oh, I don't need to watch all of these tutorials. I probably can do it by myself, right? Which is not the right way to think about it. I don't know. Now I'm more humble. If that's not very dramatic, I'm more humble, and I'm more open to just like, I kind of like know where I'm messing up, and I know my kind of like my weaknesses now. And it's very important because this is like, subhanallah, this is me. I'm going through the same things. It's just like with my life right now. It's just like outside of drawing. Oh, we got Eyes of Art in the chat. What's up? Hello, long time no see. How is everything? Oh man, I am blessed. I cannot complain. Thank you for asking. All right, we got Mockingbay in the chat as well. Hello, hello, hello. It's been great. It's been great. It's been really, there were some ups and downs here and there, but we always prevail. How about you? How's everything? It really has been a long time. I saved Charles, by the way. He's in my gallery. Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, you saved him. All right, cool, cool. How's everything, guys of art? I really want to hear. So yeah, it's been very interesting. Knowing my weaknesses is, I think like everybody knowing their weaknesses, it's such an important step. I'm on downs now. Okay, downs are good. Downs are good. I actually, this is easier said than, I'm not in your shoes, obviously, but every time I've been in a down, I've come out of it and I've been like, oh, okay, this is something that I, must learn from, and I sort of like get a lesson out and just like move on. So I hope this is not like detrimental or something like this very serious. I know you can get through it, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I genuinely do believe that you can go through it. And yeah, if you want to talk about it, the chat is here. The chat is there. You just have like you just have to type that out. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to watch today. There's the playlist sort of like goes into just like promotional videos for the other Proko courses, which I can't really extract any good information from them. So I'm doing good, as in myself. Okay, that's great. That's great. So I don't know, maybe we'll just like watch a random Proko videos. It's funny how this started with just watching Proko. It doesn't matter what the videos are, and it turned into like learning how to do portraits and how to draw faces. That's funny. Oh, another thing, mostly I'm doing like neutral faces, and so maybe it'd be fun to explore some expressions. Yeah, to be able to draw expressions, that I think that'd be interesting. All right, I think we rambled. I talked. That's what I do. But I think there's nothing to talk about anymore. Maybe, life has been very great, and I'm genuinely happy that I'm very grateful to be able to just like see my weaknesses. And only when you do see your weaknesses do you get the chance or the ability to like fix what is wrong, right? I don't want to go into too much detail, at least until I do fix some of the stuff that I'm working on. But here's an interesting thing that I actually thought about, and which I think is very true. I truly do believe it. So earlier today, actually, I was on commute, and I was listening every time I go on commute, like be it the bus or the metro or whatever. I just like put something in my ears, and I just listen to stuff, right? Podcasts, stuff like that. And I was listening to this video that's summarizing the book by Dale Carnegie. It's called How to Influence People and Win Friends, or something along those lines, right? It's a self-help book, and it talks about relationships in general, right? And it's very interesting. My point is not about the book itself, but it's just that the book is talking about like these 12 points that if you fix them, you will actually just like make more friends more often, and you'll have like great relationships. And the thing is, that coincided with me going through something, which is the following. I am these days I am working on my eye contact, meaning that before I used to struggle with eye contact, and it wasn't that, it's just not that serious. I do look in people's eyes. It's just that sometimes I'm comfortable looking into people's eyes, especially people that I don't know, or people that I had, that are an acquaintance, and we we come across each other, and it's just like awkward, right? It's one of those moments, and I feel like I don't want to have that anymore. I want to be able to just like look in a person in the eyes and be like, hello, or do something. And I've gotten really good, by the way, but this is not the point. The point is that I've put conscious effort into working on this one little specific thing, which is getting better at eye contact, right? And conscious effort is a key word here, because all of these books, and well, I'll talk about it later, but before the eye contact thing, I put conscious effort into another thing, which is actually like literally slowing my physical body down, meaning that when I walk, I have to walk slower, slower, steadier steps. If I'm going to eat, I will eat slower, just like chew my food, right? If I'm going to look at something, it's going to look around slower. And that, I feel like that made me able to just like process things around me deeply, in a sense, right? Because I was like very, very, fidgety, very fast. I move very fast. I don't really take information in just because of how fast I am. But now I'm sort of like slowing down, and it's like, okay, I can process information, right? So I put conscious effort in that. I put conscious effort in the eye contact thing. And so once I'm over the eye contact thing, I'm like good, and it's like a natural thing to me now. I'll move on to another thing. And here's my point about like going back to the book. The book lists 12 things. And it's interesting how I used to think, at least, or I feel like a lot of people do think this way too. You read this book and you read about these 12 things, and it's like you have the information, you'll probably forget them. You even if you didn't forget all of them, you must have forgotten at least half of them. And the half that you haven't really worked on, because you think that it's enough to read the information. But it's very, very, I realized finally that it's very wrong. You don't just like read the information, it's just over, right? You have to put conscious effort into something, especially when you really have nothing to, nothing about it, or you've never done it before, right? So what I'm doing here, for example, is conscious effort. It's not enough to know the technical stuff. I need to put in effort every day. And so what I thought about is the fact that, okay, there used to be books, right? Most of the time, like let's talk even like 50 years ago, there used to be just books. And these books would have like this amazing knowledge, right? A bunch of knowledge in these books, and it's like people used to just like read these books, and they improve. Be it fiction or self-help, or whatever it is, right? But if that information isn't processed enough, you're not gonna get the benefit out of the book. And so after the books, there came like these summaries. And okay, so the medium now is literally like a bit shorter, and you have like the condensed idea basically of the book. But it's not going to be something very short, but still it's at least 10 times shorter than the actual book. And so you're investing even less time on this lesson that you're trying to extract, and you do get the lesson, but you don't really get the benefit from it. And so after these summaries, now we have videos explaining sort of like these books. And by the way, I'm taking the books as examples. As an example, it's not just the books. Like I'm talking about the idea generally that we don't really put conscious efforts into the ideas that are like presented to us in life, be it from books or from events or whatever it is, right? And so from these summaries, we have some video format summaries that I can listen to in commute, for example, or I can just listen to in my sleep with little to no effort whatsoever. It's just like passive listening, right? And these videos can be from like 10 to 30 minutes. These are like very long in our standards, in today's standards, right? And so out of these videos, but not out of them, but like from these videos we went to the vertical format and the short form format, which is at least like a minute long, or like, let's say if somebody has an amazing attention span, it's going to be 2 minutes, right? And so we've gone from reading books that are like about this size to watching 1 minute videos on freaking TikTok or on whatever, Instagram, right? And just like, where is the information anymore, right? And so that sort of like puts the pressure. If you are presented with a minute of 12 tips to become better at talking to people, right? Like this is in a minute. This has been presented to me in a minute, and so I should be able to do all of these things in a proportionally short time. But that is 100% not the case, because like I said, it took me about a month to get better at this one thing, which is keeping eye contact. And so imagine getting the content of a book, of a big book, in a 1 minute TikTok video, and you think to yourself, okay, like this is crazy. I need to get better at this in a very short time. And I think that's what creates sort of like the dissonance, and it makes people depressed. Like I'm 100% guilty of this as well. I find myself trying to rush things way too much, just because the information I had, it was the access is very easy, and it's just very digestible. It's just calories, empty calories, basically, of absolute nothing, right? And so the takeaway here, what I'm trying to get to, is that things take time. Things 100% take time, and that's just the way it is. It doesn't suck, trust me, it doesn't suck. What sucks is the fact that these video format and the social media, as a whole, is just sort of like, not radically, I wouldn't say radically, but they're changing the way we perceive things and we perceive life fundamentally, which is kind of like, I think it's very dangerous. Because imagine like somebody, like a kid trying to get better at something. They have their whole life ahead of them, obviously, but somebody trying to get better at something, and they see this amazing art, on their TikTok, and they see all of this stuff and all these tips and all these tricks and everything. It's just like the amount of overload, stimulus overload, it's just too much. And so when they actually pick the stylus, or they pick the pen or whatever, they're kind of like paralyzed, because they mess up once or twice, and it's like, no, this is not working. Why is this not working? It's probably my fault. I suck, so I'm not going to do this. And it leads to depression, and it just sucks. I ramble too much. I don't even know if I'm making sense, honestly. But it does take time to get better at things. And it's not about, even like, some people do spend actual time on things, but they don't see any results. The conscious effort is what will get you better at something. Actual conscious effort. It's not like, okay, for example, back to me making eye contact. The first couple of times I was actually like consciously trying to make eye contact, it was very freaking uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. And there's a principle actually that I came across. It's called SUDS. It's the stress scale. And basically what it is, right? You are right? Yeah, okay, good. At least I'm making sense. There's this scale. that has, it's called the distress thermometer, subjective units of distress scale, SUDS. Basically what it is it's say I'm gonna keep the example of the eye contact. Say I've never actually made eye contact before, or I am really terrible at eye contact. And so the scale, the stress scale goes from, as you can see here, from 0 to 100, and you're going to be on the top, like it's going to be on at 100. And the first time you actually try to consciously make eye contact is going to be, you're going to feel these things: high distress, fear, anxiety, discomfort that you have that you've never felt. It's going to be very painful. And then after that, it's still, the second time is still going to be painful, just a bit less. It's going to be, but painful nonetheless, like extreme anxiousness, distressed. And then after that, you're going to be anxious still, and then after that, anxious, and then after that, moderate anxiety. Now we're getting a little better, and then after that is going to be a get mild, and then after that is going to be minimal, and then towards the end, you're going to have been able to just like actually make eye contact, and you're going to feel good about it, right? And by the way, I'm taking the eye contact as example. This is not a chart that's only to eye contact, but it's just like something to things that will generate stress generally. And so what's interesting about this is that the first about like 70% of this chart, it's all stress, right? It's all very stressful. It's going to be very bad, right? And then only in the like last 20 or 30% where you start to be like, okay, like I'm getting a vibe here, like I'm getting better, I feel better, this is not a problem in my life anymore, and it's like, okay, I can do this, right? The reason why I find this interesting, because most of the time, even if I did try to, make conscious effort into getting better at something, I would like do it the first time, it would absolutely suck. Do it the second time, it would suck. Do it the third time, it would still suck. Then it'd be like, okay, I've done this 3 times. Why am I not getting better? Right? Why does this still feel bad? And then I would just stop, not do the thing anymore, right? I would just give up. And the reason is just because we're here, like I haven't gone over the whole 70% yet. I just have to just like push through and go deeper and go through the 70%. Only then will I be able to just like get better at this one thing, right? But you don't do it like once or twice or 3 times and expect yourself to be better. That's just not the way it is. Dang, I just walked into a life lesson. Yeah, this is most of it is just like stuff that I realize, that I'm just realizing along the way, and that I find interesting, and that's helping me. So I just like, I like to share it. I like to share this stuff. I don't know who this, if anybody's gonna benefit from this, but whatever. Alright, I spoke a lot. I probably need to get drawing, eh? Hey, look, this is my channel. Proko. Alright, so going back to this playlist. These are okay. The quality is way too high. My data's gonna run out. Let me lower this a little bit. Come on. And this is all sexy boy style. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a great. I am not going to. Do we draw this? Draw this. Do we watch this? Stylized portraits? Sure. Let's do stylized portraits. All right, relaunching here. I gotta go do errands. Bye, folks. All right, take care, brother. Take care.
Hey guys, welcome to Proko. My name is Proko. We need a cover image for our podcast that we're going to be releasing soon. I decided to film it. I'm going to do these in graphite on, I believe this is like Strathmore. It's just bristle paper. It's got a little bit of texture on it, but not too much. But yeah, I like these Blackwing pencils. This is the softer version. I'm probably also going to use this one. This one's a little harder, this one's softer. The Blackwings don't have the range like most graphite pencils where they go from like 9H to 9B. These just have 2. So I'm going to be starting with Marshall. This is the photo I like. But I think I'm probably going to change his neck. So that instead of leaning like this, he's going to be kind of leaning forward like that. I'm going to start by just kind of trying to get the proportions correct. I'm going for like a slightly caricatured version of these. Not too much, just a tiny bit. Kind of Rockwell-esque, you know how Rockwell would exaggerate people's features just a tiny bit. I could kind of do something like this. Very sharp corner in the brow ridge. So I'm going to start by maybe exaggerating how, the thin longness of it, and then I could add more to the back of the head if I feel like I've gone too far. And then of course the beard. So you can see definitely this is longer. And then some of these shapes, I'm exaggerating. Okay, placement of the ear. I'm going to follow the brow. And that will be the base of the ear. And then it actually comes up a little bit from there.
That's a good design.
Didn't notice Marshall has small ears. It looks normal here. Maybe it looks small just because his nose is large. Oh, anyway, definitely shouldn't make his ears large because that would not be his type. But I am going to lengthen the nose. I definitely know Marshall has a larger nose, and because he's leaning back, it's shortening it a little bit. And I want to kind of get that, make sure it's obvious that, hey, this guy's got a long nose. And it's not just long, it's large. Sorry, Marshall, I like your nose. So this podcast that I'm doing this drawing for, it's not out yet. Marshall, who is the guy I'm drawing right now, he's my co-host. This podcast is going to be called Draftsman. It's going to be available on this YouTube channel and also as audio on all the podcast platforms. We're going to be covering a wide range of topics related to artists, just stuff that you can listen to while you're drawing, while you're driving. The episodes are very casual. We didn't really plan them out too much. You did submit your questions and stuff, and we use them as inspiration for the topics we're going to talk about. And we talked about stuff like, finding your style and, finding motivation and stuff like that. But we also dive into educational stuff like, how to be a good student and even things like technology, like AI and VR. And I think in a future episode, Marshall's going to try VR for the first time. So we're just going to do fun stuff. It'll be a little bit of a mix of, entertainment plus education plus inspiration. It should be really fun. So you guys check it out when it's ready. And you can subscribe to the Proko newsletter to get informed about that, or just stay subscribed to this channel and you'll see the episodes published.
You present the artwork, well, we'd like to change this. Okay, I'll change that. And present it again. They say, I'd like to change it even more. Okay, yeah, I'll change that. And then they told you to change it a certain way, and you did it that way. And they say, yeah, that's the way I want it. And you say, yeah, I'll do it that way. And you give it to them and say, no, I've changed my mind. And they can kill you because they want apples. And then you give them apples, and they say, no, I think I feel more like oranges. And you give them oranges, and they say, let's try papaya. And it goes all over the place. And those are known as illustrator killers or to graphic designers, and it's a completely irresponsible way to work. But if you do that when you're a beginner and you get used to the kind of difficulty that is going to be working for money, it's not altogether bad. It does strengthen you. I've heard bands talk about how when they play for drunk audiences who don't care about their music, they come out stronger because they've got the chops of a difficult audience.
As I put these features in, I want to make sure I'm keeping the angle. You can indicate angles in the beard, and one of those angles is this angle right in here of the bottom plane. it's nice to show that in a nice strong angle parallel to the front of the face. So I'm wondering if I should increase the size of the ball of the nose or the bridge of the nose.
Bridge.
Okay, so I feel like I exaggerated the size of the ball of the nose too much, and it didn't leave enough room for the bridge of the nose. So it definitely helps to understand all the different pieces in here, because the photo, it's not the best quality. It's a little blurry. The nose seems a little flat lit, so it doesn't reveal the forms. But if you understand what the anatomy is there, you can take the super subtle indications of the forms and understand what is actually happening, even if it's really, really subtle. Because this is going to be a cover image for a podcast, most people will just see it on their phones because that's where people listen to podcasts. And so it's going to be a tiny little square with both of our portraits on it. And so if I shade it, it's just going to look like possibly just look like a photo because it's so small if I do a good job. So I want to make it really obvious that this is not a photo of us, this is drawing, and the best way to do it is to keep it linear. And so I have to make sure my lines are interesting enough, because I can't just rely on 3D form and rendering to make it good. I have to design my shapes to be nice, and my strokes need to be dynamic. I definitely want it to look like Marshall, but I want it to look cool as well. I want it to look nice, not just realistic or not just accurate. His mustache is mostly just like a dark shape, but I'm gonna try to put like lines indicating hair, and I'm not just gonna go like do a bunch of lines. I want to design patches, different angles and zigzags in a way that it looks interesting. First things first, make sure it's in the right spot, right? Before I put all the patches of hair, let's find the center line of this muzzle. His mouth is open, and I want to be able to indicate that without shading. I might still have to just make this whole thing, black, the inside of the mouth. So I could fill in areas of black while still keeping it linear. Think of comic books or inking. You can indicate form, but it's through line. Yeah, so definitely looks more like the mouth is open when you fill that shape in. I'm going to lightly put in a few notes of that mustache, just so I have the placement, and then I can go back in and redesign those patches a little bit better later if I want to. But just having little placeholders there will help me design stuff around it, and also just help me make sure that things are in the right place before I finalize. I think it looks like Marshall. I don't know. Sometimes, I know when I draw portraits, I feel like it looks like the person, and then I come back the next day and it looks nothing like them. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that. But I've also had the opposite, where I think it looks really bad, and then I leave for the day, and then I come back and I'm like, hey, this is actually not that bad. So sometimes you just need to get away from your drawing to really get a new perspective on it. But right now, I feel like it looks like Marshall a little bit. Maybe it's just because Marshall has such a unique face that it's easy to capture his likeness. We'll see how I do on my self-portrait. I'm definitely not as unique looking as Marshall. Everyone's always telling me that I look like someone else. But yeah, one thing I want to do is make his neck go forward a little bit. So I'm going to look at a different photograph. Pretty high up, it's actually going to start curving back. Something like that. The good thing about making it just a little bit cartoony or a little exaggerated is that you can get away with doing some cartoony things to the neck or any part of it. Before I go any further, I do want to make sure that I'm happy with the general proportions before I start going in there with the eye and finalizing some of these shapes. So a good thing to do is just to step back a little bit and think do I want to exaggerate things a little more? Yeah, from looking at another photograph here, I noticed his head is a little rounder, and that actually intensifies that brow ridge shape that I was trying to exaggerate earlier. So yeah, that looks a little more like his head shape. His cheekbone, or his cheek pads right here, there's a little bit of a cushion at the bottom. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm showing this piece right here. Kind of makes him a little more jolly. Also, this photo I'm using is Marshall's a little younger than he is now. I have to decide, like, do I want to age him, make him look a little more like how he does now? Probably. A lot of that's going to be through the eyes, because his eyes look way younger in this one. But it's easier to age someone. Like, you know, you could draw a youthful person and just kind of add things to it and it'll look older. So I'm going to start with just getting that structure of the eye sockets in, and then I can come back and age him a little bit from the other photos if I want to. Oh, actually, I wanted to change the gaze. Like, he's looking up and to the left, and I kind of want him to look straight ahead. So I have to move the iris just more towards the camera. Coming in here on the nose and breaking it up into front plane, side plane, bottom plane. And actually this shape that I was talking about down here is actually a little more exaggerated on him. I didn't bring it out enough. And when you have a linear drawing, you can choose where you put the thick and dark line weight, right? In the shapes that you want to exaggerate, you put the dark lines. You don't have to put it around the whole contour. In fact, being picky is better. Also, because this shape is in shadow, I could make it darker just because it'll indicate, you know, maybe a little bit of a shadow in that area. I think I'm going to switch to this softer pencil now. I'm starting to put in those really heavy accents. I don't want to have to press too hard. I'm not shading, but I feel like every once in a while if I just kind of smear my finger across and it adds like a smudge and it makes that whole area a little darker. I want to keep it graphic. That's really the purpose here. It's not that I don't want to like cheat and shade, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If I feel like just making a whole area darker is going to make it, you know, improve it, it's fine. You know, I'm kind of determining the style here so I could play around. Definitely want the nose to pop forward, and so I'm going to make this outline very obvious. In the photo, it's kind of blending in a little bit. Like if I was to do a painting of this and be very tonal, I would use very similar value with the nose and the cheek back there. You know, a little bit darker back there, but I wouldn't put a sharp edge. It would be kind of lost, especially in here by the ball of the nose. I want to keep this really loose as well. So kind of some areas keeping the lines a little scratchy, you know, doing this sort of thing, keeping it expressive in my line work. You know, the eyes aren't the best area to do that, but you know, maybe in the hair and the kind of the cheekbones, you know, areas where it's like if I put a little scratch, it's like, who cares? It's a forehead, you know. But in the eyes, you want to try to be precise. I definitely want to have areas of dark filled in linearly, still having a very, you know, scratchy quality to it. This top part of the hair, or the back part of the hair, is a big area of dark. Also the mustache, and then it kind of fades into more light at the beard. The beard is lighter than the skin, but I'm not going to show that difference because then I'd have to shade the skin, and I'm not going to do that. I really have to just work with a graphic quality, kind of light and dark, and that's it. And then the hair is a big area of dark, and so I'm going to go in there now and fill in patches of dark, and I'm going to do it all linearly. Trying to design interesting lines. And I don't know if you guys could tell, if you guys can see it in the video, but there's a lot of noise coming in through because of the paper. I kind of like that, and I'm using the side of the pencil to kind of to do my lines, and that's creating the noise. I like that look. It's kind of, it reminds me a little bit of the effect that Fetchin gets with his drawings. It's very linear, but then there's qualities of three-dimensionality in it. I'm not going to try to get that sort of rendering in there, like the subtleties that he gets, but his strokes have a lot of texture to them. I want to clean up some of these shapes that I put in here. In the beard, I'm going to still indicate it with line, but I'm not going to be so heavy with it. I'm not going to fill it in. I'm just going to spread the lines out a little bit so that it stays looking like it's white. So just subtle indications. So as I'm designing all these little hairs in here, I want to try to connect them together and create a flow. So you can see in here there's this dark spot, and then that connects kind of to this little patch, and that connects everything to here, and then that goes this way. And I'm going to do a similar thing in here from the corner of the mouth. Just kind of bringing this shape, creating a little flow, and trying to add variety everywhere. As I do some of these lighter halftones, I'm going to go back to the harder pencil. And I'm only adding a few areas of these little cross-hatching lines just to indicate like where the form turns a little bit, but I'm not going to render it. They serve as a design element. At this point, I'm just going to be jumping around and just adding things based on how I feel. It's like, oh, it needs a little bit of dark here, light here, just like fixing little shapes. But I'm not going to take it to more of like a detailed finish than this. This is kind of the look I'm going for. I like the scruffiness of the beard. It's a little bit cleaner, more clean cut on there, but I like adding a little bit. That's part of kind of like, I said I was going to age him a little bit. That does that a little bit. I think at this point, it's best for me to step away and come back tomorrow, make sure I'm still happy with it, and see which areas jump out at me then.
You can see my face. You can see Marshall's face.
Yeah.
Marshall, why do you hate your face so much?
Oh, I don't hate my face.
You do. Every time I mention your face, okay, I'm like, how do you want to be, what kind of wall do you want behind you? And you're just like, oh, anything that will distract from my face.
Yeah, but
what the hell? You got such an interesting face.
I don't dislike my face. I like my face.
Why do you want to hide it with clutter behind you? And then I said, well, this white horse behind you is almost the same color as your skin, so your face gets lost in it. But you're like, oh, that's good.
I don't mind. I don't mind that my face gets lost. It's not my strong suit. I don't dislike it, but it's not like what I really feel like I have to offer.
All right, I'm back, refreshed. The first thing I noticed when I stepped back in today was that I felt like the eyes were a little bit off axis. Yeah. And this is something I saw just from the first moment I glanced at this. It was more of a gut instinct. It wasn't like I was measuring from the photo. It was just, I looked at it and boom. If it feels off, there's usually something that is actually off. I feel like this needs to go up. I might need to even raise the eyebrow a little bit. I mean, I know I established that angle in the beginning, but it's become more horizontal from tear duct to tear duct. I have to just wipe the whole thing out.
No,
here goes.
Oh my god.
Can't get it back to white, but I'm gonna have to make it work. Okay, so following the angle, the tear duct is now gonna be up here. Used to be down here. Yeah, that feels better. Cool. Well, I'm glad I did that because it would have bugged me forever. I also wasn't completely happy with just the strokes in there. They felt a little uptight. So now I could maybe be a little bit more whimsical, more interesting with my strokes. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I've only been here for like 2 minutes. I'm just gonna knock this back and redo the halftones in the cheekbone right there. Also just erase the graphite from my fingers so I don't keep smudging this. I want to connect the halftone of the cheekbones to some of these strokes in the beard, so it's kind of a continuation of some of these dark shapes.
Off to me.
Right now I'm going through and making some of the contours just a little bit stronger, and I think that'll just contain the whole thing a little bit better. Another thing I noticed when I didn't realize how much I exaggerated the ear, I really squished it. I made it really thin and tall, which I don't mind too much. I mean, that is kind of a product of me just stretching his whole head vertically, but I didn't realize the extent, like how much I actually did that. I think this is good. I might potentially make some edits digitally after I put the two drawings together, but this is good. I'm happy with it. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to look out for that podcast, and there's going to be another video of me drawing my self-portrait for this cover, so stay tuned for that. All right, bye.
Oh, that's the next one. Oh, I see. Oh, it's on. Oh, okay. All right. Oh my God. I was thinking the same thing. I felt like that eye was not right. Yeah, yeah. I think even here, even on the like the final cover, I don't know how to make it larger. This is the weekend. But this here, it feels, I don't know, it feels darker than this one. And it also feels more uh shaded better. This is like more kind of like, to me, I don't know, feels more realistic than this. This is more like graphic. This is less graphic than this one. I mean, the drawing is very beautiful, but you know. Okay, this is some stuff I've been looking at on Pinterest. Okay, Versace. What a, ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. This is a beautiful face. Beautiful. Look at this. I am, boy. Alright. Photoshop. Let's go. Honestly, I'm gonna do this as sketchy and fast as possible. One, the main reason is because I want to get some sleep. It's getting very late. The second reason is because I don't want to spend too much time worrying about detail, right? I don't want to give myself the opportunity to worry about detail. So here we go. His head is very, it's not a circle. It's definitely not a circle. It's sort of like mostly, it's most of like this shape. And that's very interesting. Man, the jawline is, his jawline game is crazy. Wait, the ear is way to the back here. And actually the shape of the head, we're gonna change that. Change that so it's comes right behind the ear. The ear is a bit rounded here. Very round, in fact. It's coming out. And it got so like that vibe. All right. Hopefully. And then we sort of like got this line over here, which we find ourselves going on here. All right, sort of like that ear, the proportion here, this kind of like goes here, and then the mouth is here. So this goes over here. Very large nose. We're gonna do that, and then here, just to keep the same. Maybe actually this goes up here, maybe this goes in here, right? Wrong. This actually goes. Usually I do like the you know, the eyeball, but I feel like especially for this one I didn't need to. His eyes are very like horizontal, or especially at least this pose. Alright, I want to actually get the form of the head right, because that's one thing that I find myself sometimes missing, is the form of the head. So like this, it's like it's going up here, and then we have this form of the mouth, for example, right? And then we have this form here. There's a bit of an overlap here. The lips are going to be very prominent. They're going to be hiding this area. We're going to take the heads a little bit further up, but I'm gonna keep the sort of like this feature of his head, which is like the corner, because it's very prominent. Gonna make it even more angly than that. I think that's okay. But yeah, this is does this feel okay? Like, does this feel volumetric? Right. This mouth is going to be just like this. Very large upper lip, very large lower lip as well. So we have this. Man, every model I drew from like Pinterest They have these amazing luscious lips. I want to do this less chicken scratchy. It's over. It is over. He doesn't really have any hair to, you know, give more to his likeness. Dude, where am I messing up? Like, this, I don't know, it does feel a little bit flat to me. I know, like, you can feel sort of like the nose here. I think like this looks good. This line. His chin is very prominent. Not chin, this is the chin. Is this the chin? It's almost coming out this way, really. Also, this feels like a long journey from here to here. So this is the lips here. And then I think it's the distance. I think I've made the nose. Oh, I think it's the nose. The nose a little bit, I think, yeah. I need to lower the nose a bit, so this is going to be here. Okay, before I do that, actually, let me erase first. Bro looks Dumbledore now. Bro is Dumbledore. Bro is not afraid to cast a spell on you. Bro is literally looking down on us. Bro literally just came out of Slytherin, bruh. Ah, frick this nose, man. Whoops. Ah, is it too small? I think it is too small. Okay, you know what? I'm going all in. All right, watch this. Nope, nope, that is not it, because it needs to be to cover some of this here, this area. However, oh my god, like what? Bring the tip and the bridge out more of the nose. Yes, yes, that's what I'm trying to do. Is that I'm trying to look at the angle here because I don't want to ignore the angles as well. And maybe it's just that. No. Maybe the lips as well. Yeah, the lips here are right. Oh, I see. I think I kind of see it. Ooh, hey, I think that looks better. Ooh, that 100% looks better. What was I trying to do? Was I trying to do it like this? Is that what I was trying to do? It's more like this. Man, shapes, man. Shapes are tricky. Still doesn't look like him though. Like he's got like this piercing look that I don't know how to explain and that I'm definitely jealous of. Yeah, I think we need to. Yep. Ooh, okay, look. Hey, I think I cooked. Hey, look, bro. I think I cooked. Hey, that looks fire. Doesn't really exactly look like him. And I don't understand, like, I actually just, like, I give up trying to make it look like him. But, like, a standalone, I think it holds up. Do I even try to shade this one? It looks too good. I don't want to ruin it. Frick it. We're gonna do the shading on another layer. Or do I want to? I want to get to sleep. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. I don't want to make his ear the center of attention. There you go. Don't have to make the whole thing outlined and like dark. And that's exactly what I did, but we don't have to do that. Actually, this is the area. This is the visor. I've been trying something actually. I've been trying to get rid of the lower lids and seeing if that actually keeps it looking interesting or, you know, anything. And I think it does. It does make it a little bit interesting. You know, you don't have to put every single thing. Just like, you know, maybe we can forget about this. Right? How would that look? I think with the lower lid it's better. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's better with the lower lids. And that's it. Oh no. Let me do the shading really quick. This is, I know nothing about the shading, by the way. I just do whatever feels, you know, good. I just see some dark areas and I go like, oh, this is shadow. Let me do that. That's how I gauge shadow, basically. This man is dark, by the way, so should I do his whole face? It would make sense, right? Nope. Not the eyes. There we go. This is on another layer. Let's get back to our shading. So shading this stuff. Let's shade this right here, and we can mask the areas that we want to, you know, contain our shadows in. So I'm doing this, and yeah, I think maybe instead of shading we'll just like do highlights. I think highlights would be good. The lip 100%. The lower lip as well. It's always confusing. Oh, this area is dark as well. It's always confusing when references are like in an open environment or in a light, basically in an area where light is like diffused. That's very it makes it hard to pinpoint really where the light is coming from, because it's literally coming from everywhere. This is Yeah, what else? I think that's about it. This dude's skin is so clear. Like, what does he do to get a skin that clear? I don't get it. I don't know. If this area is dark just because of like his facial hair or because of the light, it's really ominous. Okay, let's mask some of this. Actually, this could be fun. Oh my god, that looks terrifying. All right, let's mask some of this stuff out. And actually, I think it's better to do it with the no, never mind. This is actually pretty good. I don't need to. Oof. I think that's enough. Uh, definitely need more work on my shading stuff, but yeah, with the stuff that I know, I feel like yeah, this is acceptable. Right. Okay, I really like this one. This is a good ending to a challenge that has been very fun. I learned a lot. And yeah, excited for the next one. From this or tomorrow to until the end of the next month, we're going to be taking these illustrations and I'm going to vectorize them. I'm gonna put them on Illustrator, I'm gonna trace them, and I'm gonna apply like some, you know, neat gradients to them. And you know, if God wills, I'm going to try to animate them. We'll see how the animation part is going to go, but yeah. Alright, this was fun. This was fun. Isaac, thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. You know, it'd be nice if I can see you more often here. You know, it's really fun to have somebody you know to chat with. All right, it's midnight, bro. It's 11 past midnight right now. And I need to wake up early tomorrow, and that's not going to be good. That's not going to feel good. YouTube, I can access YouTube. Wait, what's happening? Play and post. Images. Last day of the Proko challenge. Proko challenge. There it is. Alright, posted. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, peace out. Good night and later. Good night and later is right. Alright, all I gotta say is peace out.